Hey everybody, welcome back. We are doing our last lesson in our Unit 11 geometry today. We are talking about area. Before we get going, let's go ahead and review what we have already learned so far about geometry. First of all, geometry is the study of shapes and figures. The 5 figures we have learned about are points, lines, line segments, rays, and angles. A point shows an exact location and looks like a dot. You would see this to show an exact spot on a number line. Next, we have a line. A line is like a number line without the numbers. It goes on forever in both directions, and it has 2 arrows at the end. Next, we have a line segment. A line segment is very similar to a line, but it has 2 points on the ends because it has a beginning point and an end point. It is a section of a line, and that's why it's called line segment, because it's similar to line section. Next, we have Ray Ray, and Ray Ray sings and goes in one direction. Remember, this is his little head, and he sings out in one direction. Or you can think of it like a ray of sunshine, where this is the sun, and it has a ray coming off of it going in one direction. Last but not least, we have an angle. An angle has 1 point and 2 lines coming out of that point going in different directions. When we put three of those angles together, we get a triangle. A triangle is considered a polygon. A polygon is a plane shape, meaning it's flat or 2D. There are no 3D shapes here. They are all flat like a pancake. Next, they have to be closed, which means they cannot be open. No gaps, no crisscrossing. And then they have to be straight lines, so no curves. We do not do curves with polygons. Polygons have to have straight lines. They have to be connected, and they have to be flat, okay? And you have to have at least 3 sides or more. If you tried to make a polygon with 2 sides, you would get an angle, and that is open, and that's not a polygon because it has to be closed. So if we add a third line onto that, we get a triangle. So a triangle is considered a polygon. We also have a few others that we'll talk about in a minute. On this screen alone, you can see a pentagon, a heptagon, a square, a trapezoid, a parallelogram, several quadrilaterals, a heptagon, a decagon, a hexagon, a pentagon, a triangle, an octagon. There's lots of different shapes on here. All of them are polygons. There are no curves on this page. They are all closed. They're all made up of straight lines, and they are all 2D. They're all flat. Next, we're looking at some examples that are not polygons. Some of these shapes up here have either open lines or they crisscross. They have curves in them, or they are 3D. They are, some of them are not flat. Basically, all of these up here are not polygons because of one of those things. So either they have a crisscross line or an opening, or there is curves in it, which I see a lot with curves in it, or they're 3D, which means that they're not flat. So none of these are polygons. Let's go over our 8 polygons that we have learned so far. We have let's make it smaller so we can see nonagon. We don't want to leave him out. We have a polygon with 3 sides is called a triangle because tri means 3. Triangle, it has 3 angles. Next, we have a quadrilateral. Quad is what we call him. Quad has 4 sides, 4 angles, because the word quad means 4. Next, we have a pentagon. And a pentagon, we hold a pen with our hand, and on our hand, we have 5 fingers. So it takes 5 fingers to hold a pen, which means that is a pentagon. Next, we have our hexagon. And when I say hexagon, I'm putting emphasis on the X because hex goes with 6. Hexagon means 6. Next, we have happy the hippie. If I have 7 fingers up, I am making a peace sign with one hand and giving a high five with this hand. Happy the hippie is super nice and friendly, so she's always like, peace out and let me give you a high five. That makes 7 sides. So happy the hippie has 7. Then after that, we have octagon, and the octagon has 8. We know this because octa means 8, just like an octopus has 8 legs, an octagon has 8 sides. Then we have nonagon. Nonagon is really easy because nonagon sounds like ninagon. So a nonagon has 9 sides. Last but not least, we have a decagon, and a decagon has 10 sides. Deca means 10, just like a decade means 10 years. A decagon means 10 sides. So just to recap really quick, a triangle has 3 sides. A quad has 4. A pentagon has 5. A hexagon has 6. A heptagon has 7. An octagon has 8. A nonagon has 9. And a decagon has 10. Awesome job, guys. Next, we have congruent versus non-congruent. What makes a shape congruent is if it's the same two things. Same size and same shape. It has to be those two things. They have to be the same shape, obviously, for them to be the same. And then they also have to be the same size. Color doesn't matter. Position doesn't matter. They can be in different positions and different colors. We see that here. We have a pink and a purple. Well, those are different colors. It doesn't matter. They're the same shape. These are both rectangles. They're both the same size. This one's rotated. It doesn't matter if it's rotated. When you rotate it back standing up, it would match this one exactly. So they are the same shape and the same size. They're congruent. A shape is non-congruent, which means not congruent when these shapes are either different shapes or different sizes. So here we have a couple of examples of shapes that are the same shape, but they're different sizes. If I threw up a circle and a triangle on here, you would know that those are not congruent because they're very different shapes. So I'm showing you examples that are a little bit trickier because they are the same shape, but they're different sizes. So these are non-congruent because they are not the same. All right, next we have talked about perimeter. Perimeter is when you add together all the sides of a polygon to get the total measurement of the whole shape. So for this, we have 6 units on top. We know that that top line is 6 units long. The side is 4 units long. So we're going to add up all the sides to get the perimeter. The perimeter is measuring around the shape. So measuring all the lines around the shape. It's like a fence. If you think of a fence, it is the fence. The fence is the part that goes around in a shape, and we are measuring how long the fence is on all the sides. So here we have a perfect rectangular fence we're trying to find the perimeter of. So the top is 6 units, which means this line up here is exactly the same as this line down here, meaning that we're going to do 6 plus 6. And then this side is 4, which means this side is also 4. We have to add up all the sides. So 6 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4. When you add those all together, it gives you 20. 6 plus 4 is 10. 6 plus 4 over here is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. The perimeter equals 20 units, or if you want to write it in the shortest way possible, P equals 20 units. Next, we have perimeter when you measure using a key. This is the one that you're probably going to see on your test. So an inch is our key. This little purple line equals 1 inch. The first thing you're going to want to do is measure it with your fingers. Hold your fingers up to the screen and count how many you think you could fit on the top row. I think I could fit 1, 2, 3, 4 up there. And I know that if my top is 4, then the bottom is also 4 because it's a rectangle, so the top and bottom are the same. So 4 plus 4. And then I have to measure the sides. On the sides, I think I could fit 1, 2. So each of the sides are going to be worth 2 inches. So I'm going to do 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2. It's very important to remember to add up all of the sides of whatever shape you're measuring. If you're measuring up a triangle, measure all 3 sides. If you're measuring a pentagon, measure all 5 sides. If you're measuring a quadrilateral, add together all 4 sides, okay? Don't leave one out. So here we have 4 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2, which gives us 12. So our perimeter here is 12 inches, or you could write P equals 12 inches. Next, you also would see it as a square unit, which all of our pictures today are going to look like this for area. I'm going to explain to you what area is in just one moment. To find the perimeter of this big rectangle, we're going to count the sections. So basically, we're counting how many little lines, little sections it takes to measure around this whole thing. So watch how I count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to go down the side. 6, 7, 8, 9. Now down the bottom. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now up the side again. 15, 16, 17, 18. So I know that this is 18 units. Another way to do it would be to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write 5 up at the top. Know that if this is the same length as this down here, that this one's also going to be 5 at the bottom. Then to do the side, this one's 4. This side's also 4. So 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4 is 18 as well. Now, let's talk about area. Area is when you find the total amount of space inside the polygon. So we were using the example of a fence. So perimeter is the fence, measuring how long the fence is. The area is the space inside the fence. Okay, it's the field inside of it, and it's measuring all of that space. Area is going to be something you learn more about as you get older in other grade levels. For 3rd grade, we are just going to figure out how many square units it takes to make this shape. All you have to do for area is count the square units that are colored in. So for this one, all of them are colored in. So we're going to count all of the squares. So it takes how many square units to get there? It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It took 12 square units. Area equals 12 square units. A equals 12 square units. The biggest thing here is to make sure you don't accidentally miss one when you're counting or count the same one twice. So I always like to count one row, then go to the next row, and then go to the next row. Do it in order. So as a reminder, perimeter goes around. Area is the space inside. So it's actually, area is a lot easier than perimeter in 3rd grade because we are just measuring the amount of square units it takes to make a shape. Square units are these little things. One of these right here is called a square unit. And it's called a square unit because it is a square. And it's a unit, so square units. There you go. Next, let's look at this shape. What is the area? Let's figure out how many square units it takes to fill up this entire shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next row. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Our area here is 18 square units. Okay? This one does also look like an array for multiplication. 3 equal rows of 6. 3 times 6 is 18. When you're finding area, it doesn't always look like this. They can be in different shapes. In fact, when you get on IXL later today, you're going to see all the squares are going to be connected, but they're going to be in different various shapes. That's okay. You're still just counting how many squares it takes to make the area. All right, let's look at this one, the shaded area. Ooh, this one is a little bit tricky. What we are looking here still is only the colored in part, okay? You are not counting these 2 white sections over here that are not colored in. You're only counting in the colored in part. So how many do we have colored in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the area is 10 square units because 10 square units are colored inside. Remember, area is just counting how many are inside. How much does it take to cover the inside? Perimeter is the outside. So area is a lot easier. All right, let's do one more of the shaded area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I have my area here is 15 square units. I did not count the white part because it's not colored in. It's not included here. All right, now let's find the perimeter and the area of this shape. So the perimeter is going to be how many sections it takes to get around the shape. The area is going to be how many are inside the shape. So let's find our perimeter first. Let's count how many sections it takes to go around. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's taking 4 to get around. Then we're going to count the sides. 5, 6. Okay, now we got to count these down here. 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this side, 11, 12. The perimeter took 12 units to get around. The area is how much is inside. How many squares does it take? The area here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the perimeter took 12 units to get around. The area is 8 square units. I want to talk to you about the difference between units and square units. A unit is a section. Okay, it's just the section, it's the edge. The square unit is the whole square. So it took 8 whole squares to make this. But it took 12 sections of the square, 12 sides, to make this entire shape. So we counted the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 sections to make this. And it only took 8 square units to fill it up. All right, let's look at a couple more. Perimeter is the lines around it. Area is how much is inside. The area is always easier to find because all you have to do is count the square units. Perimeter here is we're counting these sections. When I say section, I'm talking about the top part of here of each of these little squares. So how many sides of these squares does it take to go around? I've got 1 side here, 2, 3. So I know it's going to be 3 up here. So it's also going to be 3 on the bottom. Let's count over here. 1, 2, 3. That means that there's also going to be 3 over here. A square has equal sides. This is a square. So if I know the measurement of one side, I know that all of them are the same. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12. So it's going to take 12 units to go around. That's my perimeter. My area is how many square units it took inside. How many does it take to fill this sucker up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my perimeter is 12 units. My area is 9 square units. That is the difference. Perimeter goes around. Area is the space inside. All right. I hope that this explains the difference between perimeter and area. This is something you're going to learn more about as we get older. There are formulas for this, but for right now, we just need to know that perimeter goes around the shape and area is the inside of the shape, okay? If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and good luck, guys.